Welcome back to ABC GH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the dramatic custody battle brewing in Port Charles and the explosive return of a fan-favorite character that could change everything for two families caught in a scandalous affair. The soap opera world is buzzing with anticipation as Michael Corinthos appears poised for a dramatic comeback to Port Charles. After his extended absence while recovering in a German burn unit, Michael's return promises to ignite new conflicts and reshape family dynamics throughout the community. Viewers who have followed his journey through tragedy will soon witness his transformation from victim to determined father fighting for his children's future. The custody battle for Wiley and Amelia stands at the center of this unfolding drama. Michael's determination to gain full custody stems not from vindictive impulses, but genuine concern about Willow's current mental state and living situation. The once loving couple's relationship shattered when Willow began an affair with Drew, Michael's uncle, while Michael suffered severe burns and fought for his life overseas. This betrayal has created ripple effects throughout Port Charles, with nearly everyone except Willow herself recognizing the problematic nature of her choices. Legal experts within the show's universe question whether Michael's petition for full custody will succeed in family court. The judicial system typically favors maternal custody in many circumstances, creating an uphill battle for Michael despite Willow's controversial decisions. The court will need to weigh multiple factors including parental stability, home environment, and the children's emotional well-being when determining their future living arrangements. Viewers have expressed passionate opinions across social media platforms regarding this custody storyline. Many fans defend Michael, pointing out his maturity and growth since his teenage legal troubles. One supporter emphasized, Michael went to prison as a teenager, he's a grown adult now. Very big difference. And being mob-affiliated, yeah, he can't help who his father is. And Michael has always distanced himself from Sonny's world, especially working at Aurora and at ELQ. This perspective highlights Michael's efforts to establish a legitimate business career separate from his father's criminal enterprises. Other audience members have taken Willow's side in the developing conflict. Some commenters note the traditional legal preference for maternal custody, stating, the standard is best interests of the children. The woman is assumed to have a better bond with the children. These viewers believe the court may look unfavorably on Michael's family connections despite his personal distance from illegal activities. Critics of Willow point to her history of vulnerability to manipulation, referencing her past involvement with a cult. This pattern of susceptibility concerns many who wonder about her judgment regarding the children's welfare. The shocking speed with which she moved the children into Drew's home while their father recovered from life-threatening injuries has particularly disturbed longtime viewers who once admired her character's maternal dedication. The moral complexity of this storyline reflects General Hospital's trademark approach to family drama. Neither character emerges as entirely sympathetic or villainous. Michael's mob connections through Sonny create legitimate concerns, while Willow's betrayal during Michael's medical crisis raises serious questions about her character. This nuanced portrayal of flawed individuals making difficult choices continues the show's tradition of morally ambiguous storytelling. Production insiders hint that upcoming episodes will feature intense courtroom confrontations between the former couple. Legal teams for both parties will likely present evidence about parental fitness, with Willow's attorneys emphasizing Michael's family background and Michael's team highlighting Willow's recent judgment lapses and hasty relationship decisions. These scenes promise emotional performances from both actors as they fight for their characters' parental rights. Regardless of the legal outcome, this custody battle guarantees lasting consequences for all involved. The children, especially young Wiley, who is old enough to understand some aspects of the conflict, may experience emotional trauma from being caught between warring parents. Drew's position as both Michael's uncle and Willow's new partner creates uncomfortable family dynamics that will persist long after any court decision. As viewers await Michael's return to Port Charles, speculation grows about potential allies in his custody fight. Carly, his fiercely protective mother, will undoubtedly marshal resources to support her son's case. Sonny's reaction remains less predictable, as his complicated relationship with Michael has evolved over years of conflict and reconciliation. The extended Quartermain family may also become involved, creating additional layers of inter-family tension. The writers have masterfully crafted this storyline to explore themes of betrayal, forgiveness, and parental rights that resonate with audience experiences. By avoiding simple villain-hero dynamics, they've created a situation where viewers can empathize with multiple perspectives while still forming strong opinions about the characters' choices. This narrative complexity keeps fans engaged and discussing possible outcomes across social media platforms. As this custody drama unfolds in coming episodes, viewers can expect emotional confrontations, surprising alliances, and perhaps unexpected compromises between the former couple. Whatever the outcome, Michael's return to Port Charles promises to reshape the show's landscape and provide compelling drama for weeks to come. Next, we will learn about the intricate web of secrets, confrontations, and unexpected alliances forming throughout Port Charles, as several storylines reach their boiling points in the coming episodes. Anna Devane finds herself lost in contemplation about days gone by, memories flooding back as she sits alone in her apartment. The veteran spy's reflections aren't merely nostalgic, they're strategic, connecting past events to current mysteries plaguing Port Charles. Her extensive history with numerous residents gives her unique insights into the town's current troubles. As she sifts through mental archives, Anna appears to be piecing together connections others have missed, particularly regarding recent explosive events. Her expression reveals concern mixed with determination, suggesting she may soon take action based on these reflections. The writers have masterfully positioned Anna at a crossroads where her past experiences could prove crucial to resolving present dangers, particularly as tensions escalate between various factions in town. In a surprising development, Tracy Quartermaine and Elizabeth Baldwin have formed an unlikely strategic partnership. Their hushed conversation at the Metro Court indicates they're developing a plan specifically targeting Drew Kane Quartermaine. This unexpected alliance brings together Tracy's business acumen and Elizabeth's medical knowledge, a potentially formidable combination. Their collaboration suggests the stakes involving Drew have escalated beyond individual concerns to something requiring coordinated efforts. Elizabeth's involvement is particularly intriguing given her typically ethical approach to conflicts, indicating she believes Drew's actions have crossed significant boundaries. Tracy's characteristic determination appears tempered by Elizabeth's more measured approach, creating a balanced strategy that could prove effective against Drew's resources and connections. Young Emma Scorpio Drake appears headed for trouble as she contemplates extreme measures following Ned Quartermaine's rejection of her plan to preserve the historic Quartermaine crypt. The teenager's passionate interest in family heritage has collided with practical considerations, creating a classic generational conflict. Emma and her friend Gio have developed an elaborate preservation proposal that Ned dismissed as impractical and costly. Rather than accepting this decision, Emma seems prepared to circumvent authority, a concerning development for the typically rule-following young woman. This storyline beautifully illustrates adolescent idealism clashing with adult pragmatism, while highlighting the importance of historical preservation versus financial reality, themes that resonate throughout Port Charles' history. Elizabeth Baldwin faces an unexpected surprise in upcoming episodes, though details remain mysterious. Fans hope this development brings romantic possibilities for the long-suffering nurse who has weathered numerous personal tragedies. The timing of this surprise coincides with several potential suitors circling her orbit, including Hamilton Finn and the recently returned Jason Morgan. Elizabeth's reaction to this surprise will reveal much about her current emotional state and readiness to embrace new possibilities after periods of intense grief and stress. The writers have carefully positioned Elizabeth at a crossroads, where this surprise could significantly alter her trajectory after years of putting others' needs before her own. In a moment of vulnerability, Jordan Ashford opens up to Isaiah during a private conversation at the police station. Their growing connection provides Jordan a safe space to express concerns she's been harboring about numerous Port Charles situations. Her confidences likely involve Drew's increasingly questionable behavior, Portia's suspicious activities, or possibly both. Isaiah's willingness to listen without judgment marks him as a potential ally for the often isolated police commissioner. This developing relationship adds depth to Jordan's character, showing her need for connection despite her professional strength. The scene demonstrates how even Port Charles's most self-sufficient characters occasionally need someone to confide in during challenging times. Alexis Davis demonstrates her characteristic directness by summoning Rick Lansing to her office immediately. The urgent nature of this meeting suggests it relates to the escalating situation involving Christina's confrontation with Ava. As Christina's mother, Alexis likely wants to address the volatile situation before it spirals further out of control. However, Rick may already be aware of Ava's desperate financial circumstances, creating an interesting dynamic when he arrives. Alexis's protective maternal instincts often conflict with her legal mind, creating internal tension that makes her character consistently compelling. This meeting could establish new alliances or deepen existing rifts as the town's legal minds navigate increasingly complex personal and professional entanglements. Jason Morgan finds himself in an increasingly precarious position. forced to carefully navigate multiple sensitive situations simultaneously. His involvement in Sasha's paternity deception requires continued vigilance, while his suspicions about the bomber demand discreet investigation. Adding to his complications are strained relationships with both Carly and Anna, two women whose support he typically relies upon. Jason's characteristic stoicism masks growing frustration as he balances these competing priorities without his usual support network. This storyline effectively highlights Jason's evolution from Sonny's enforcer to a more independent figure with his own moral compass, even as he maintains his trademark caution and calculation in addressing threats. Felicia Scorpio puts Sasha Gilmore in a difficult position, with probing questions that require quick thinking. Her maternal instincts have been triggered by concerns about her grandchild's medical history, leading to uncomfortable inquiries about paternity. Jason's fabricated cover story faces increasing scrutiny as Felicia notes discrepancies in the narrative. The situation becomes particularly complicated when considering Michael Corinthos' documented congenital heart condition, medical history that could become relevant if accurate family medical records are examined. This storyline cleverly interweaves past medical storylines with present deceptions, creating organic tension as characters attempt to maintain elaborate falsehoods against Felicia's natural investigative instincts. In a delightful development, Stella, Henry, and Tracy Quartermaine strengthen their unlikely friendship over tea and conversation. This charming scene provides welcome contrast to Port Charles' typical dramatic confrontations. Their relationship bridges different social worlds while highlighting how life experience transcends background differences. Tracy's sharp wit pairs surprisingly well with Stella's no-nonsense wisdom, creating dialogue rich with both humor and insight. The writers have crafted a friendship that allows both characters to reveal softer dimensions while maintaining their essential personalities. Their conversation likely touches on family concerns while providing viewers a moment of warmth amid the town's escalating conflicts. Curtis Ashford finds himself embroiled in multiple confrontations, beginning with an intense questioning session from his ex-wife Jordan. Her inquiries likely center on Portia Robinson's increasingly erratic behavior and sudden friendliness toward Drew. Jordan's perceptive nature has consistently detected Portia's deceptions, suggesting she has important information to share with Curtis. Following this difficult conversation, Curtis faces an even more volatile exchange with Drew, who issues a thinly veiled threat about escalating their conflict. Drew's warning that if Curtis wants to get ugly, they can make it happen, indicates their professional disagreement has become dangerously personal. Curtis finds himself caught between protecting his relationship with Portia and standing his ground against Drew's intimidation tactics. Laura Spencer confronts unexpected political challenges from newcomer Ezra Boyle, who appears aligned with Drew Kane Quartermaine's interests. Unlike previous adversaries, Ezra may harbor ambitions to replace Laura as mayor, bringing fresh political conflict to Port Charles. His accusation during Wednesday's confrontation visibly angers the typically composed Laura, suggesting he's touched on a sensitive issue. This political storyline introduces interesting dynamics as Laura's established leadership faces challenges from Drew's growing influence and resources. The writers have cleverly positioned this conflict to explore themes of political integrity versus financial power, a timely reflection of real-world tensions in many communities. Ava Jerome opens up to Rick Lansing about her increasingly desperate situation involving Sonny Corinthos. Her confession likely includes details about Sonny's heart condition, his custody demands in exchange for financial assistance, and Christina's aggressive intervention. This vulnerable moment represents significant character development for Ava, who rarely admits weakness or seeks genuine help. Rick's complicated history with his brother Sonny creates interesting possibilities. While he lacks the $2 million Ava needs, he might leverage knowledge of Sonny's health issues against his longtime rival. This conversation potentially forms a new alliance between two characters with complex moral compasses and complicated histories with the Corinthos family. Christina Corinthos Davis reaches a breaking point on Wednesday, potentially discovering Ava withholding Sonny's medication. This dramatic development echoes a classic General Hospital storyline from the 1990s when Tracy Quartermaine withheld Edward Quartermaine's heart medication to force him to sign important documents. This deliberate narrative parallel honors the show's rich history while creating fresh drama with contemporary characters. The situation has become increasingly volatile, with Sonny attempting to exploit Ava's financial vulnerability while Christina applies pressure from another direction. The week promises violent confrontation following the incident at Sonny's residence, suggesting this powder keg of family tension is about to explode with potentially devastating consequences for all involved. In perhaps the most shocking development, Lulu Spencer prepares to reveal explosive information to Cody Bell regarding Brooklyn Quartermain, Dante Falconeri, and a secret pregnancy. Her conversation appears headed toward the bombshell revelation that Dante has an unknown son, information that could shatter multiple relationships throughout Port Charles. Lulu's motivations remain questionable. She may be attempting to recruit Cody as an ally or manipulating him into revealing the information to Dante, allowing her to avoid direct responsibility for the fallout. This calculated approach shows a darker side to Lulu's character, suggesting her time away has changed her priorities and ethical boundaries. The potential revelation threatens to upend Dante's life while creating ripple effects throughout the Quartermain and Falconeri families, demonstrating how one secret can destabilize Port Charles's intricate social ecosystem. As these storylines converge in the coming episodes, viewers can expect emotional confrontations, surprising alliances, and life-altering revelations that will reshape relationships throughout Port Charles. The writers have masterfully woven together personal conflicts, professional rivalries, and family secrets to create a tapestry of drama that honors the show's rich history while pushing characters in new and compelling directions. Next, we will learn about the dramatic departure of one of Port Charles's most complex characters and what his portrayer has to say about this latest twist in an already tumultuous storyline. The corridors of Steinmauer Supermax prison in Geneva, Switzerland will soon welcome a new high-profile inmate as Valentin Cassadine joins its notorious roster of criminals. This ultra-secure facility, known for housing some of the soap world's most dangerous villains, including the cunning Jennifer Smith and the manipulative Winston Rudge, represents the latest chapter in Valentin's tumultuous journey. The transfer marks yet another dramatic turn for the character whose path has oscillated between redemption and villainy throughout his time in Port Charles. Security protocols at Steinmauer are legendarily stringent, with minimal visitation rights and round-the-clock surveillance, a stark contrast to the relative freedom Valentin enjoyed even during his darkest days as the most feared Cassadine. The emotional farewell scene at the Port Charles Police Department captured the essence of Valentin's complicated relationships. As he prepared for transfer, his parting words, "Till next time," resonated deeply with viewers who have followed his character's evolution. This simple phrase, delivered with James Patrick Stewart's characteristic intensity, offered a glimmer of hope amid the somber circumstances. The moment perfectly encapsulated Valentin's enduring confidence and strategic mind, suggesting that even as he faces incarceration in one of the world's most secure facilities, he's already contemplating his eventual return. Fans immediately took to social media platforms to analyze this farewell, with many interpreting it as a promising sign that the character hasn't made his final appearance in Port Charles. When questioned by Soap Opera Digest about potential future appearances as Valentin, Stewart expressed enthusiastic willingness to return under the right circumstances. "If they come up with something that serves the show, of course, I'd be happy to be there," the actor stated, demonstrating his commitment to both the character and the narrative integrity of General Hospital. This professional attitude reflects Stewart's understanding of the collaborative nature of soap storytelling, where individual character arcs must serve the broader canvas of interconnected plots. His response suggests a healthy perspective on the unpredictable nature of soap opera employment, prioritizing compelling storytelling over guaranteed screen time. This approach has likely contributed to Valentin's longevity despite numerous storylines that could have permanently written the character off the canvas. The precarious nature of soap opera employment was further illuminated by Stewart's revelation about a conversation with executive producer Frank Valentini. With characteristic bluntness, Valentini had once told the actor, "I like you, but if storyline dictates, I'll throw you down an elevator shaft." This candid behind-the-scenes glimpse reveals the practical realities facing even beloved characters in the daytime drama landscape. Unlike primetime series where actors often have multi-season contracts, soap performers must navigate a world where character fates can change rapidly based on audience response, creative direction, or production needs. Stewart's matter-of-fact acceptance of this reality, summarizing it as nothing personal and simply business, demonstrates the professional resilience required in the daytime television industry. The silver lining in Valentin's current predicament lies in the nature of his exit. Unlike many soap characters who disappear through presumed deaths, only to miraculously return later, Valentin's imprisonment provides a cleaner narrative path for his eventual return. This storytelling approach maintains character continuity while allowing for a temporary absence, The writers have effectively placed Valentin in a narrative holding pattern that can be resolved whenever the timing is right for his character to re-enter the Port Charles landscape. This strategy has been employed successfully with other characters throughout General Hospital's long history, creating natural breaks in storylines without permanently closing narrative doors. Stewart expressed particular enthusiasm about potentially reuniting with Finla Hughes, who portrays Anna Devane. "I just think that when you put the two of us in a room, she and I really enjoy each other," he remarked, highlighting the natural chemistry that has made their scenes compelling for viewers. This professional admiration translates visibly on screen, where Anna and Valentin's complex dynamic has captivated audiences despite or perhaps because of its turbulent nature. Their relationship exemplifies the soap opera tradition of pairing characters whose connection defies simple categorization, neither purely romantic nor entirely antagonistic, but a constantly evolving interplay of trust, betrayal, attraction, and wariness. The intense but ultimately unsustainable relationship between Anna and Valentin represented one of the character's most intriguing storylines. Their connection, described by Stewart as difficult yet sizzling, burned with such intensity that it ultimately consumed itself in relatively short order. This pattern reflects Valentin's broader character arc, moments of genuine connection and potential redemption repeatedly undermined by his inability to maintain healthy relationships. The writers skillfully balanced moments of genuine vulnerability between the pair with the inevitable complications arising from their complicated histories and conflicting loyalties. Their scenes together often showcase some of the show's most nuanced dialogue and emotional depth, allowing both actors to display their considerable talents. Stewart demonstrated profound insight into Valentin's psychological makeup when discussing the character's relationship patterns. He identified the tragic cycle that has defined Valentin throughout his time in Port Charles: brief periods of genuine connection, followed by self-sabotage and regression to familiar destructive behaviors. He falls back to what works: making money in nefarious ways, punishing people for imagined wrongs. Stewart explained, articulating the defense mechanisms that prevent Valentin from sustaining meaningful relationships. This psychological analysis reveals the depth of Stewart's understanding of his character, viewing Valentin not simply as a villain, but as a damaged individual whose harmful actions stem from deep-seated insecurities and past traumas. This nuanced approach has allowed Stewart to portray Valentin with remarkable consistency, despite the character's often erratic behavior. The actor's acceptance that it makes sense that every once in a while he has to go to prison reflects both a realistic assessment of Valentin's actions and an appreciation for narrative consequences. Unlike some soap villains who seemingly escape accountability indefinitely, Valentin's periodic incarcerations maintain a certain moral balance within the show's universe. This pattern of crime and punishment creates a more believable character arc, while still allowing for the dramatic prison breaks or legal maneuvers that can bring him back into the main storyline when needed. Stewart's comfort with this cyclical narrative suggests he values storytelling integrity over having his character always emerge victorious, a perspective that ultimately serves both the show and the character's longevity. Valentin's latest departure occurs at a particularly complex moment in his storyline. His relationships with both Charlotte and Anna remain unresolved, with emotional threads left deliberately dangling. Charlotte's development into a young woman with her own agency creates potential for fascinating future dynamics with her father, especially as she continues to process his complicated legacy and questionable choices. Similarly, Anna's conflicted feelings toward Valentin suggest their story is far from complete, with unresolved emotional business that could easily reignite upon his eventual return. These intentionally open narrative threads provide rich material for future storytelling when the time comes for Valentin to once again walk the streets of Port Charles. The production team's decision to transfer Valentin to Steinmauer rather than writing him off permanently reflects strategic storytelling. By establishing his specific location and circumstances, the writers have created a clear situation that can be referenced in his absence and resolved when appropriate. This approach maintains narrative coherence while accommodating real-world scheduling considerations. It also creates potential for interesting off-screen developments that could be revealed upon his return. New alliances formed with fellow inmates, skills acquired during incarceration, or information gathered that could impact Port Charles from afar. This storytelling technique keeps the character relevant even in absence, allowing other characters to reference him and his situation when narratively appropriate. James Patrick Stewart's portrayal of Valentin Cassadine is consistently ranked among General Hospital's most nuanced performances. His ability to balance menace with vulnerability, calculation with passion, has created a character who defies simple categorization. Unlike one-dimensional villains who serve merely as obstacles for heroes, Stewart's Valentin possesses a complex inner life that makes his actions, even the reprehensible ones, comprehensible within his personal moral framework. This depth has allowed the character to evolve beyond his initial introduction as a straightforward antagonist into someone whose allegiances and motivations remain compellingly unpredictable. Stewart's thoughtful approach to the role has ensured that even during Valentin's most villainous periods, glimpses of humanity prevent him from becoming a caricature. As Valentin begins his sentence at Steinmauer, Port Charles will undoubtedly feel the absence of this magnetic character. His departure creates space for new storylines while leaving viewers anticipating his eventual return. The writers have masterfully balanced narrative closure with future possibilities, respecting both the character's history and the practical realities of soap production. When Valentin does return, and Stewart's comments suggest that when is more appropriate than if, he will likely bring with him new complications, alliances, and schemes that will once again disrupt the delicate balance of Port Charles society. Until then, fans can take comfort in those parting words. Till next time, and the promise they contain of more Valentin Cassadine chapters yet to be written. The temporary departure of James Patrick Stewart from General Hospital's canvas represents not an ending, but a pause in one of the show's most compelling character journeys. As Valentin settles into his new accommodations at Steinmauer, viewers can reflect on the complex legacy he leaves behind in Port Charles while anticipating the inevitable drama his return will someday bring. In the unpredictable world of soap operas, one thing remains certain: characters as richly developed and skillfully portrayed as Valentin Cassadine rarely disappear forever.